point of view movie reviews. I've been waiting all year for this movie. Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This movie takes place in 1969, and during this time, Hollywood was in flux. It was changing. TV stars from the 50s were fading out, and the upcoming of movie stars was blossoming. At the same time, a renaissance of long-haired hippies, free love, and all of that good stuff. That's what was happening in 1969. So if you was a TV star who did mainly westerns, man, your time was over. It was out of here. Now you're in TV shows and some movies playing a villain. And that's what's happening. Quentin Tarantino gave a personal story. In 1969, he was 6 years old. And he said his mother took him to the cinema on a regular basis to go see movies. That was the best babysitter. And he remembered just going down Hollywood Boulevard in his mom's car and gazing all over the city and thinking, man, this is what I want to do. At the age of 6, it's incredible. I can relate to that a little bit. Growing up in the late 70s, early 80s, I remember when the 70s turned into the 80s, when rap music hit the scene, when pink hair, green hair, punk rock music, a lot of guys from foreign countries come to America singing like Americans until you hear them talking, they sound like British. It was a renaissance time, and I can relate to being a part of change is something beautiful and marvel to watch. But this man actually seeing Hollywood change. And this movie is a love letter to that change. He's seen it all, and he got the best of the best. Leonardo, Brad Pitt. Unfortunately, a few people died right before this movie was finished. Oh man. Luke Perry is in this movie. He's no longer with us. I believe he had a stroke. Kurt Russell is in this movie, playing another character from another movie. Margot Robbie playing Sharon Tate in this movie. Incredible performance. Not a whole lot of dialogue with her. It's all about expressions, smiles, because back then it was all about free love and living freely. Women didn't have a whole lot to say because we lived in a society that did not listen to women. Now also, Burt Reynolds was supposed to be in this movie. Unfortunately, he had a heart attack right before they started filming his scenes, and it's sad that he's not in this movie. He would have been perfect in this role, but this movie has two major stories that run parallel, but very different. Leonardo's character is a fading star, but he still want to taste that Hollywood life. He don't want to give it up. He's doing anything he can, taking any role possible just to stay relevant. And that's Hollywood for you. Whether they're talking good about you or talking bad about you, as long as they talk about you in Hollywood, you're relevant. That's where he was. Like I said, he was reduced to playing villains in some low-budget shows. Margot Robbie's character, Sharon Tate, they were next-door neighbors to Leonardo. Here you have the changing of the guard. One person's career is going down. Next door, the other people's career is going up. Where her then husband, the famous director, were just all over Hollywood, blowing up, throwing extravagant parties. It was amazing. Then, during a time of free love and that hippie movement, you had cults coming together, forming their own religion and their own beliefs. And that's another story that's interwoven between the other two stories that's venturing down a dark path. And how Tarantino goes back and forth, you see what's happening. Now, Brad Pitt's character, who plays a stuntman, has a different path. He's a little bit more loose, more acceptance of the change, and he fits right in. He's not an uptight actor that's washed up. He's always getting paid because he's playing a backup role being a stuntman. So he fits right in with that new movement. Matter of fact, he's invited to hang out with people who are into the cult, the new religion, and the free love and the whole hippie movement. That's where the story starts to intertwine with both lives. And I'm telling you, Tarantino writing is never in doubt, but man, he pulls you into this story because he's playing with history. But like in Glorious Bastards, he changes history to fit his film. It's done with taste and it's done with class, but this is Quentin Tarantino. So you know something tragic is coming and is lurking all throughout the film. This movie is beautiful. It's beautifully directed. It's beautifully shot. Cinematography is gorgeous. He took modern day Hollywood all the way back to the 60s and early 70s. The cars, the music, the feel of Hollywood, the old school theaters, everything was eye-popping, and it felt like he was back in that time. And award season is getting near, and this is a summer release, which is kind of weird, but everybody came to play. I don't know what it is about Quentin Tarantino. Every actor, whether they're relevant or washed up, gives a great performance in his movies and are relevant again. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is different than all his other films, but man, it delivers like all of his previous other films. It is a total change of the guard, but I absolutely loved it. This, again, is a love letter to Hollywood. When you're from LA and you're going down Hollywood Boulevard, there's so much rich history on that street. Hell, this movie was shot in front of a theater that's open today on Hollywood Boulevard. You can go to the theater and watch this movie in that particular theater that's in the movie. That's how dope Quentin Tarantino is. Man, he understands pop culture. He gets it. He's old enough, but still hip enough to blend the two together, man. And this movie does it all beautifully. I am not going to talk about the third act of this movie. Spoilers might be lurking out there. You want to be totally oblivious to the third act, and we can talk about it later because that's the defining moment of this movie. But you're on for a great ride all throughout this movie. It is incredible. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Go check it out. And as always, like, share, subscribe, and leave your comments down below and tell all your friends. Yo, it's just my point of view. Hello. Now, I hope you really enjoyed this video. Without you, there's no me. And do us a favor, stop by the website at www.blacktastic.net and pick up some merchandise. Get yourself a hat or pick up a t-shirt. There's things like that to help keep the channel going. And also, feel free to leave a donation on the home page at www.blacktastic.net. Thank you all so much. Again, you make this so much fun. Without you, there's no me. Until next time, see you later.